Hey everybody, welcome to the garden. I hope you're having a great day. Shout out to the lemon and lime lovers and everybody in between. It's time for the crypto market recap. Let's hop into these charts, see what the story is and what it may be. And remember, if you're interested in any of the services I provide, please check the links in the description below for both the Patreon and Discord. Okay, so before we get started, forewarning, this is probably going to be a bit longer than normal, this video. Of course, the timestamps will be in the description like always, so if you want to skip to the specific coins or specific discussion that I'm having, you can do that through there. One of the reasons why I expect this to be a longer video, I am planning to talk about the Discord at the end of this video, mainly my recommendations of how you should set it up. It'll be very simple. Again, if you're an older member and you know what you're doing, this is going to be more of a reminder. You might not even have to hear this. If you're a new member, I recommend you hear it. Again, it's just turning on some alerts for certain rooms. And if you are looking to become a member, this is where you could probably get the most out of it, okay? We're going to be looking at a few coins, coins that were in positions and coins that were not in positions, okay? So we'll be looking at Bitcoin, Polkadot, Cardano, and Solana. We are long all those positions. We recently just opened the Solana long, and that was actually a free trade as well. So if you're not a paying member, if you're not part of the Patreon, you got the Solana long alert as well. So, if you hopped in, welcome. Hopefully it works out for us. If not, hey, you're probably going to get another shot because like I've said in all my trades, I always look to ladder into positions because I'm under the correct assumption. I never catch the tops and I never catch the bottoms. There's always going to be more room, so I'm always prepared to add on to the trade. So if you get the alert, now that I posted the trade and it's lower than where I got in and you want to follow the trade, well, guess what? You got in at a better price than me. That is the beauty of the way I trade, I believe, for people who want to follow. You don't have to always follow me exactly when I tell you to get in. Oftentimes, you're going to get in at a better price than me. Okay, sometimes you won't. Okay, sometimes I do get those perfect entries. It's rare, but it happens. But yeah, just remember the most important thing is risk management, and of course, I'm going to talk about that later in the video as well. We're going to also look at Avalanche. We're definitely going to take a look at Link because Link is at a really, really interesting position in the chart that I do want to talk about. We're going to look at Ethereum. We'll take a quick look at XRP, and we're also going to take a look at Binance Coin because I got an alert on that. I want to talk about that as well. But starting off with Bitcoin, which we're currently long still, as you can see, still in that rising structure that I mentioned in the previous recap, which is, its nature is a bearish structure, okay? But it has not confirmed. Nothing has happened. Even with this pullback today, we are still within that structure. We'll see how this candle closes. We can't jump the gun. It's possible that we could a bearish engulf, right? Because we've already shown that we've taken out all the gains of this last candle on the 8th yesterday. But we do have plenty of time before this candle closes, so we can be higher up by the end of the day, or it could be even lower. All right, so we just want to take our time. All you have to do is wait, watch, and then make your decisions from what happens. Okay, you don't want to preempt anything because the markets will do what they do whether you like it or not. All right. And currently, we are fighting around this resistance zone of 24,000, 24,500, which is my minor resistance zone. I still believe that we can get towards 25,000, 25,500. So if you watch the previous recaps, that's my general target level for Bitcoin before a major pullback happens, before maybe the confirmation of this rising structure, right? So pull from 17,600, pull this trend line going to 18,601, and then pull it forward to the future. And then look at this top here from right here, this pivot here, which is about 22,000, pull that forward up, and you have a rising structure, right? So you have this rising structure that is bearish in the context that, hey, we've had a drop, a pretty significant drop, and now we're slow grinding into resistance zones, and now we're at this somewhat significant one, and we're going to see if it's going to hold as resistance or we're going to have a consolidation here to go sideways to try and get the fuel to do what? Break through and then get towards my first general zone of where I would say major resistance resides, which is anywhere from 25,500 and 26,000, like this general area here where this descending blue trend line is going, okay? That's what I've been looking at since we've really been down towards here, about 17,000, 18,000, and it's been playing out decently. But if we do lose this rising structure support, then that thesis is clearly wrong. Okay, so then we're likely going to see a break of this minor support line here, the support zone here. It's about 22,000, 21,800, and then a move down towards 20,000 again. The thing is, if that does happen, okay, if that happens, of course, this support zone can hold, but probability wise, it's very unlikely. Okay, because what have I always said, and this is one of the keys to trading people need to understand. It's a little counterintuitive, but it needs to be understood. Rising structures are bearish. Okay, always remember, rising structures, probability wise, have a bearish undertone to them and will likely break down. Descending structures are usually, probability wise, bullish. They go down and then eventually break out higher. Okay, so you could do this with channels, you could do this with triangles, whatever. You're gonna find patterns that are veering, grinding to the upside, will eventually break down. So you should look for a bearish break, and then vice versa for descending structures. I've gone over this a few times in other recaps. It's a basic principle in trading, but it's often forgot and often ignored for a few reasons. Sometimes, a lot of times people just aren't aware. They're taught different things, and most of the time it's incorrect. And then, if you're a trend trader, you don't really look for that sort of setup. But if you're trying to be a consistent winning trader, you're trying to understand how to read charts correctly, it's very important you understand that philosophy, that truth, even if you are a trend trader, because what this shows you, when you have a rising structure or a descending structure, you're getting the psychology of the market. Okay, you're getting the psychology of the market. It's very important. This sort of situation that we're in, it's very likely it's going to trap novice traders long. It's going to trap the poor traders. I don't want to call them dumb money. I don't really like the term, but the poor, the novice traders who aren't as experienced or just do not have good habits into a long, when in truth they should probably be stacking shorts. But then your question would be like, well, why are we long? Well, we're long, one, because we were long prior to this, and we're swing trading. Okay, we're not looking to scalp. We're not looking for intraday, quick trades. We're swing trading, and for us, the trade made sense all the way over here to break out higher. All right, but it didn't. It went the other way, and this is why, like I'm going to talk about later in the video, it's so important your position sizing is under control, and that if you are trading like me, where you're laddering in positions, you have the opportunity to protect yourself from when the trade goes against you. Okay, and you have to map it out prior to it happening, because hey, if you go back to those recaps, I implore you, do always go back and test me. I gave you the scenario that, hey, we're long here, right, because it's likely going to break out higher, which it did, and then it went the other way because of Luna. If it does break down, look for this general zone to be tested. All these trend lines down here, these horizontal trend lines, were mapped out. I didn't add any of these lines. If you go back all those months, these lines have been there, right? So that's what I've had in mind, is that, hey, if we get to these levels, I'm going to add on here, I'm going to add on here, I'm going to add on here, depending on how price gets to them. And I made that very clear then. I'm going to make it clear now. Levels are levels, but they aren't important just because they're levels. It does matter how price gets to them, when they get to them, and what that determines is the probability of how those levels will interact with price. Okay, that's a very advanced way of seeing charts, and it's something where it takes a lot of experience and a lot of back testing, a lot of testing to realize, and that's part of the things I do teach you in the tutoring. Okay, but it's something you can do yourself, but it does take many years. All right, so I do want to make that very clear. So I'm not buying levels just to buy levels. There are ways to see how the candles are going and what they're telling us, and how it's likely those levels will interact due to that story that's being told to us. So right now the story is we're in a rising bearish structure. However, if you look at the sentiment of the market, and this is very important, it's still quite negative. It's not exuberant. There's not much positivity, and that's extremely important, because what that does, it helps us determine if there's many people on the wrong side of the structure. And from what I'm observing via social networks and other groups, I'm not seeing that. I'm actually seeing a lot of people are very, very negative. So what that means, it's very likely you're going to see a consolidation here, like I've mentioned before, a consolidation and then a breakout higher going towards this next major resistance zone, which is going to be anywhere from 25,000, 25,500, and maybe even higher. If that sentiment doesn't get, too positive, you may even get a breakout even higher going towards my ultimate target of around 30,000. All right, we're still looking at anywhere from a 60 to 65% chance of this happening. All right, depending on how this daily candle closes, that can increase in probability or it could decrease. All right, in the next recap, of course, I'll mention that, we just have to wait and see how this candle closes. But this sort of way of reading charts, it's not something I'm promising you're going to be able to do tomorrow. It's going to take a long time. You can get the information from my videos here. It's going to come in spurts. Obviously, I'm not going to go over it entirely. There's some things I'm going to keep to myself, unless you're paying for the tutorings, of course. But you can get all the information you need just from these videos. All right. But again, as we are long Bitcoin, we are technically we are against this structure because we are long. However, we are in a decent position considering our weight in our portfolio and considering how much net profit we've had while we've been in the long for Bitcoin from the altcoins. Okay, so let's go on to the first altcoin that we're going to be looking at, which is Polkadot. And before I actually talk about Polkadot, I did mention just now, kind of our weight. That's also an important aspect to understand about swing trading specifically. So this doesn't really apply to, if you're a day trader, if you're scalping. Your weight doesn't particularly matter portfolio wise because you're just, going in and out of trades. So sometimes, many times within 10 minutes, 5 minutes, a second, depending on how you're trading. Swing trading though, you could be in a trade from anywhere from a day all the way up to 3-4 months. So your weight of your portfolio matters a lot, right? So Bitcoin, I may have exposed, like right now, anywhere from 20-25%, which is I'm totally comfortable with. And then Polkadot, it could be anywhere from 5%, Cardano 2%, Solana 1%. So you're seeing, obviously, there's a huge skew going towards Bitcoin. But what that means is, if Bitcoin, let's say the position's a loser and it's losing money, but the altcoins, we're in profit in those positions. Some are decent profits, some are minor profit. Well, you're going to be able to take, profits off of the altcoins, which brings back your principal that you exposed to that altcoin and then the net profit you made. Well, that in turn means the pressure from this position, the Bitcoin position, becomes far less, right? So hopefully that makes sense. All right. Hopefully that makes sense. Because you're getting more back from these other positions, the loss that you may have in Bitcoin, the unrealized loss, becomes less and less risky. Okay? So that's also an aspect to my trading. And I do want to talk about that because that sort of strategy doesn't particularly transition or work well for everyone in the group, as I'm aware, because people have different sizing with their portfolios. And I'm going to give you a recommendation because I know some people have a lot more money they're trading with, so they can open themselves up to many positions, and then others have very small accounts where they can't do 4, 5, 6 positions and still be safe, right? So I'm gonna give you my recommendation on what to do in that scenario. All right. But before that, let's talk about Polkadot. So Polkadot, again, very similar to Bitcoin, actually had a much steeper rise and came towards major resistance. I actually sent out a group message to the members, the paying members, about where we were. I was very tempted to close out at $9.40. As you can see, it hit this multiple times, tapped it. And we're in decent profit now, even during this pullback day. It was very tempting to close. I decided not to. One of the reasons why is what I just mentioned. We have so much room. We have so much room to let our positions run, and that means run into the red sometimes. Okay, I could have taken profits here, and I think that would have been anywhere from 20 to 25%, a profit. But I do see right now the potential of a bullish consolidation here to break out towards $10, and that, I mean, the risk to reward is so good that it's worth letting that happen, even if this comes all the way back down to our entry, and maybe even we end up closing this in the loser. Okay, the risk reward is correct, And that is something where you have to be able to stomach as a swing trader, to watch your gains explode higher and then watch them contract lower. All right, so just understand I'm aware. So if you're following me, you're depending on me for the trade. I always have my eye on the charts. I'm always looking at the charts. I know. Okay, but do not be afraid to go against me. All right, so if you believe that, hey, this is going to be a very good level to take profit, but I'm not doing it, that does not mean you should not do it. Use me as a guide. All right, use me as a guide. I am not God, and I don't know what's going to happen next. Because I can control things. I just go by the probabilities, and I'm gonna be wrong, as I have been wrong in the past. But if you are in a good spot, so let's say you entered where I entered in Polkadot, which is around down here, and this money that you made is extremely important to you, that this is big deal, then take the money, okay? Because it's possible that I could be wrong. It can go lower. There's nothing wrong with that. And if it does go lower and I'm still in the position, guess what? You can re-enter. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Use me as a guide. I'm not 100%, but I am, as you know, if you've been following me, I'm more often right than wrong, quite a bit. But use me as a guide. All right. So as we can see, Polkadot getting to this, this is a decent resistance level at $9 and change. I do see it breaking out higher. The key will be this ascending trend line. So pull it out from $6, the local bottom, and then extend it to $6.52 and pull that into the future. This short-term trend line, short-term support line is going to be key, right? So if this gets lost, obviously we're going lower. We are extended pretty far out from it, so I would not be surprised if we do get a pullback towards it. But from what I'm seeing in Bitcoin even now, I do think we're gonna be watching a consolidation, a bullish consolidation here. And there's another reason why I feel this may happen as well, because I am looking at the NASDAQ chart. Again, we'll talk about that once I go through the cryptos, okay? So there is a possibility, and we are leaning more towards the higher probability of around 60 to 65% that we do break out higher after some consolidation here, all right? And if it does break lower, well, these levels marked here, $7, $6 and change, are going to be key. And then we'll probably break under $6 if we do lose this ascending trend line. Okay. And then if we, then $10 and change is going to be my upper target. It getting past that is possible, but it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be very difficult. We'll probably have another denial, kind of like what we're seeing today there, if we get there. Okay. Going on to Cardano, let's see what's next. So Cardano, again, similar, and actually unlike DOT, it's just continuously tapping this trend line. So we're gonna see if it can hold. Cardano's is actually much steeper, but right now we're gonna see if it can hold. It's gonna be pretty interesting to watch, but take a look at this, from this top pivot here, and then pull down from this pivot here. Where's Cardano fighting? Right there at the apex. So we're definitely gonna see within a couple of days here decision being made, right? So we're either gonna have that breakdown lower, or we're gonna have that breakout higher. This is more of like a symmetrical sort of look to it. In my opinion, this is bullish. All right, and the thing that's interesting about Cardano is if we extend this out a little bit further, connect it to this horizontal trend line here, right? So this one right here, small one here, so that's about what, 45.5 cents right here. This is an actual wedge, right? So look from the bottom here, and then this right here, this is a descending wedge. That's actually a bullish pattern. Okay, so if we are going to lose this rising trend line, which is possible, okay, we do break lower and then we come back towards this trend line. If it can hold and we get some sort of bullish consolidation down here, which can be a couple things, right? So you could see a bullish consolidation where it breaks lower and then it starts a descending wedge pattern, like a smaller one right here off of this support line here at 44.5 cents, breaks out and gets that fuel to break through this descending trend line. Well, guess how this works? Now you're going to have a consolidation here, possibly bullish, and a breakout higher. All right, and then you would look for the next pivot's high, which is about 55.5 cents, which is a general area where it's been fighting here. And then the next level would be right around this top part here, so 62 to 64-65 cents, this general zone here, and that will coincide with this rising trend line. And this is why I can't tell you how cool rising trend lines are. You gotta really play around the trend lines to understand, like, they really are far more relevant than you can imagine. But you do have to be patient, and you do have to, you know, really take the time to map them out. Of course, they don't all always work, but when they work, it's pretty magical. It's pretty cool to see. So we're gonna watch and see what Cardano does. Right now, obviously, this trend line, it's likely going to break. This one's far steeper, and Cardano has been, you know, fighting it more often than, let's say, a Polkadot. Okay. And then, you know, if it does break out higher, again, my targets haven't really changed. I've been looking mainly at 60 cents and possibly 65 cents. But 60 cents is my general target area that I've been looking at. And let's see, Solana, which we recently got in. This is also free members. We're probably a little bit lower than where we entered. So if you're looking to enter it, you're probably going to get a better price than me right now. But Solana is interesting. Again, a rising structure. If Solana loses this bottom trend line, I probably will look to close out in a loss. I'm not wholly sure on that yet. I do need to see how this kind of breaks down. But if it does start losing this rising trend line here, the reason why for Solana it's more imperative to probably close out, as you can see, is a lot more air here. You know, $22 will be a pretty major support level. This support line here, about $31 to $32, will be minor, and but as of now, it's very unlikely to actually hold any major sell pressure that would likely come from a loss of this rising structure. So if Solana is lost, this rising trend line, it may be imperative to close it. But again, I just have to wait and see how the price action plays out there and how it breaks. It is fairly important. But yeah, you know, again, I took it because it was a decent place. We had a lot of confluence here. As you can see, we had this horizontal trend line here, we had the rising trend line here, we had a nice bounce from there, and now we're having a nice little pullback. So we're going to probably consolidate here, just like everywhere, every other coin, and we're going to see if it's going to have that fuel to, you know, test the top side and get towards that $50 mark, which I've been talking about for ages. So we'll see how it goes. And Solana's treated us well. We've had, you know, one trade that took quite a while, and it was a pretty good trade, and the second trade was literally, like, I want to say, like 3 or 4 days. It was like a 20% mover. So it was one of those things where Solana has treated us well. So if it wants to take from us, it's probably warranted. Okay, but again, this is another instance of where you must control your risk. Even if you followed me and you see that I haven't really lost, you'll see that if you look at my trades, and I don't hide it, my drawdown's very large, right? Like, I may have a trade where in the past, I believe Cardano, so not this trade, but maybe a trade or two before, I had I think Cardano fell on us about 22-25%. We didn't close out at all, but that was about 25% drawdown. Okay, so if you're over leveraged, you're getting liquidated, and if you overexposed your account, it's gonna be very difficult for you to hold through that. So I can't say it more and more, you know, I can't say it enough, and I say it over and over, but I won't ever stop. Control your risk. Control your risk. That's the only thing that is barring you from making money if you're following my trades. Okay, just control your risk. If you want to do leverage, I don't tell anyone how to control their leverage, but clearly you can't do 10x leverage. You can't. I don't even think you should be able to do 5x leverage with me. Okay, because a lot of my trades, the drawdown is going to be too much. If you want to do 2x or 3x, that's your prerogative. All right, but I'm not leverage trading. Okay, if you want to trade leverage, it's on you to make sure that you keep in mind that my drawdown can be significant. All right, it's very transparent, and if you ever have any questions, all you have to do is ask on the Discord. That's all you have to do. My trading is extremely transparent, and my drawdown, all my positions, extremely transparent. All right, and yeah, so that's all the positions we're in. And Solana's thinking, as I'm going to say one more time, since it's free members, if you are in there, just keep in mind this rising trend line is key. If it does lose this trend line, I will be looking to close the position out, unless the price action is clearly saying that's not correct. All right, because if this trend line is lost, the probabilities of a move to the upside is it becomes very unlikely. And in that case, I would also look that Bitcoin will probably have lost a key level as well. All right. And before we go to the next crypto, which, you know, these are all the cryptos we've been in positions, I do want to take a quick look at the NASDAQ so I can explain one of the reasons why the probabilities are leaning towards Bitcoin having a move up higher even now. So as we can see, you know, NASDAQ is in this descending channel, and we hit this top line. We fought at it for, you know, a couple days, about 3 days. And now we finally are breaking down from it, and now we're going into what was a pretty significant resistance zone. Now it's a, you know, support zone. We'll see how it holds out. What we can see possibly here is bullish consolidation. Okay, depending on how this week plays out. So this daily candle is going to be very important, and the next couple daily candles can be very important. If the selling is too steep, then obviously it's very unlikely going to be a bullish consolidation, at least in the short term. Okay, we could have a longer term consolidation that turns out bullish. But if we're going to have bullish consolidation in the short term, like a flag pattern of some sort, we should look to see if we can hold the top structure of this green support zone now, right? And what are you seeing? So use your eyes. This descending top line for the channel and the top line for the green support zone makes a triangle pattern that looks like what? A flag. Okay, and in this case, it would be a bullish flag pattern, a bull flag. All right, that's how these lines work. You have to look for the confluence in this zone. So if we do have this daily candle and the next couple daily candles, maybe a week or so, hold this place, hold this zone, and it starts showing signs of bullish consolidation, then we may have that breakout higher. All right, again, it's all probabilities. We have to wait and see. As of right now, I do see this likely happening. All right, but it's very close. We don't know for sure. No one knows for sure, but that is the most likely outcome, in my opinion, right now. If, let's say, this daily candle closes under this level here at 12,000, let's go for the low here, 12,850, we'll say. So if we start losing 12,850, then I would say, okay, we're likely going to go all the way back down towards the bottom of this support zone, this green support zone. And we'll see if that can be held. So we can see if this top pivot with this support zone will be held. Okay, and it's possible it will. If it is, then look for a much longer consolidation, which might coincide with the Federal Reserve that will be returning in about 2 months to talk about the next rate hike. If they start, changing their philosophy and start becoming far more dovish as we're approaching this apex here, then it makes sense that we do have that breakout higher. Okay, if they start getting more hawkish, as they may, we don't know. They've been hawkish, but if they reiterate they're not going to get softer on the markets, they're going to raise rates 75 basis points again, or they're going to do 100 basis points, then we'll have that breakdown lower and continue the channel. All right, so we do have to keep that in mind. We might be going into a much larger consolidation, but again, we're just mapping out what may be. Okay, always remember, it's just mapping out what may be. All right, but right now the probabilities are for a bullish consolidation until this bottom level here is taken out at $12,850. All right, so let's go right back to crypto and look at some crypto that I'm interested in, that we were in, we're not in, or we're looking at. So Avalanche we'll start with. Avalanche, very interesting. We were in this. I actually closed this out probably a little bit too early. I'm not upset about it, but hindsight is 2020. I did close out too early. So if you were in the AVAX position with me, we all should have made money. I hope you made money with me. I was targeting this. I was talking about $30, and which coincided with the top of this rising structure. I ended up closing a bit early, I want to say about $27, $26, something around there. Good profits for us. It was a great trade. Not going to complain. But one of the reasons why is because it was having a lot of trouble at this top pivot at $26.30. And I was like, considering that, we're in a few other positions, we might as well take the profits. And then Solana was showing a potential entry at the time, so I was like, let me just take off a little bit more risk. That way, if I do enter Solana, it'll be even less risky than before. And then, hey, we had the next couple days, nice rise, right? We had a beautiful next day, and then yesterday, beautiful move higher getting actually past the top of this trend line here, tapping my general, just over my general target level, first target level for Avalanche, and then denying, right? And this candle structure is pretty bearish. Okay, this is like a topping candle, something that you want to see after a rise. This sort of candle structure, it definitely gives you the implication that we're probably going to see a topping pivot here for a little bit. Okay, and today has looked to confirm this so far, but it's very early. We have about 6 hours, so we'll see how today closes. And again, you know, if we're going to go into that consolidation, it could end up being bullish. Okay, we have this massive rise, and then we have a descending consolidation that's kind of a slow drift down, then that's more likely going to be a flag pattern. All right, but you know, again, we could just have that straight denial to go back down towards this trend line here. We just have to let the price action go. We have to let it tell us the story. You don't want to put your opinions on the chart. You just want to react to what you're seeing, and you know, you definitely want to keep the probabilities in mind. And the only way you're going to get probabilities from patterns, guys, you really can't let other people do it for you. You have to actually do the work and go back in history and look at the patterns and see how they played out, and actually log in how many times it worked, how many times it didn't work yourself. And you can obviously forward test it as well. Look at real price action and see how those patterns work. That's how I did it. So if you have a question on how I'm getting these probabilities, well, it's all from experience, going on to 10 years experience, 10 years plus as we get towards November. That's the way to do it. It takes forever, but that's the only way, and that's not taught anymore, unfortunately. And most people, they don't understand. You know, that's the way you're consistently going to make money in the markets, because the patterns themselves are just representations of human psychology, human emotion, and that won't change. No matter how mechanical the stock market gets, no matter how many algos you run, it's human people that are running those algos, and they're going to lose. You know, they're always going to lose to someone who can read them, period. And it's not taught anymore, unfortunately. But I teach it. I teach it. So if you want to learn it, check out the tutorings. But yeah, Avalanche looking interesting. Again, very similar to, you know, Polkadot, similar to Bitcoin and Solana, in a rising structure. And we're going to see, you know, if it does come back down towards this bottom trend line that's rising, if it's going to hold. It's more similar to Polkadot in that, you know, it has a much more extended move higher, but it actually reached the top of this rising structure. But yeah, Avalanche is interesting. We're not in anything right now with Avalanche. I am looking for an extended move higher. So if I do see it break out towards the top part of this pattern again, and it's showing signs that it's going to break out higher, I am going to be getting very tempted for a possible short position. I'm going to be very patient when it comes to Avalanche, towards crypto in general. When it comes to shorts, I do need to see the price action get very aggressive. Like, I would love to see, ideally, I would love to see Avalanche just break straight out towards $40. I would immediately start opening up shorts over here. Okay, but if I do start seeing, you know, Avalanche that, you know, breaks out and then it comes back down towards this rising trend line and then holds that support, then $40 as a short doesn't become that interesting. It actually becomes more interesting to raise up the target for my short about $45. See, and that, here's a little hint, guys. If you have consolidation, whether it's bullish or bearish, under or below resistance or support, so in this case a bullish consolidation, so let's say here or here under this resistance at $41, you don't want to short $41. Even if you wanted to short it down here, right? So we're talking about here, and let's say in a couple weeks it prices up here doing a bullish consolidation, why would you want to short this level? Okay, so this is something I also teach in the tutorings, but I'll let this go. You don't want to short this level because this bullish consolidation is designed, it's the whole purpose is to break through it. Okay, so if you short that level and the bullish consolidation plays out and you short $41, you're screwed. You're going to go into more drawdown. You're going to go at best maybe $45 and maybe at worst $50 to $60, right? So why would you do that? If you see that sort of activity, you should try and raise your short target price to the next major significant resistance level, which is going to be around $45, and then ladder it in to $53. Okay, so you have to, things change. Nothing's a vacuum. Levels are just levels, but price action determines the probabilities of how those levels will interact. Okay, that you have to be able to understand that. That's very key. All right, and Avalanche, as you can see, it's in a bearish structure, but I am seeing possibilities of these structures failing or extending out. Okay, even though if Avalanche does break through this top line, that does not completely invalidate this rising structure. Okay, just means it's just a different structure. Doesn't mean it's not bearish. Avalanche is bearish. Crypto is bearish, guys. Okay, crypto is bearish. As you can see, this is bearish. it's definitely in a relief rally mode. We'll see if that actually plays out, but it's still overall bearish. All right, next is Link. Link is very interesting. As you can see, it's having some upside. And look at this. So Link, also one of our longs that we closed some time ago, was a great trade. Obviously, it hit that confluence zone that I circled here previously that I was eyeing. You have these 3 trend lines all pretty much coinciding. Took a little longer than I thought it would, but got right to it. This horizontal support zone of $8.80, $8.85. This descending trend line here is actually really important. So let's pull it back. So it's all the way from its all-time high. It's pulled all the way out into the future, and now we're seeing Link breaking through after what? A bullish consolidation right here, right? So this is a clear example of what I said in Avalanche. If you have a bullish consolidation that starts forming under this sort of trend line over here, you don't want to aim to short that trend line anymore. You want to aim higher. Well, that's similar to what happened here. You have a bullish consolidation that was an attempt by bullish actors in the market to break through this descending trend line and get towards this horizontal resistance, and that's exactly what happened. Now we're going to see if there's going to be a continued breakout of that horizontal level, or we're going to start stalling here, which is more likely we do start stalling here. We have a lot of support now that's kind of under Link's feet. So this blue line here, also you see that this was from a failed bullish structure, right? So you had a somewhat significant bullish structure that failed for Link. Then it got near to it, nearly kissed it, then denied off of it. Then now consolidates and breaks out, and now it's back right at that bottom part of that structure. So we're going to see if how Link is going to interact in this general zone. All right, it's very interesting. Not interesting to short. Okay, it's definitely not interesting to short. I do see it playing as resistance, but actually being denied here, that's a toughie. I don't see that happening right now. I think Bitcoin needs to show some significant weakness for that to start happening. I actually do see another form of bullish consolidation to try and break through this top pivot here at $9 and change, right? So if we do break, let's say break out here, and we hold this level and starts turning into bullish consolidation, watch for that move higher, and then boom. I think $10 to $11 is going to play massive resistance. Okay, it's gonna be a toughie for Link to get through, because you can just go by this bottom wick here, $11.42. Watch for that level. Is going to be really significant. Whether it holds as resistance, again, remains to be seen, but you're going to see some price action interact there as of now. Okay, as of now. Of course, that can change, like I've mentioned over and over in this video, depending on how price action starts forming around that zone or just before that zone. Can change things. And then we'll look at $12, and then 13 and change will also be a major level for our Cardano, for Link. And also we do want to extend out the top part of this failed bullish structure and see where it goes in the future. And look at that, you do get that confluence of $13 and change relatively, right? So if it's going to go back to the top part of that bullish structure, you're going to see this horizontal resistance level probably play a major role as well. So Link is really interesting, and if we were to get to this level very quickly, that would be a definite short opportunity in my book. All right, let's take a quick look at Ethereum, see what's going on. I see a $2,000 Ethereum still. I don't know what this is, but I see a $2,000 Ethereum still for sure. I think Ethereum is looking pretty nice as of now, and I want to see how this closes. If we do have a bearish engulfing on Ethereum, then we'll probably see a pretty significant sell-off on on Ethereum, but if it can hold this horizontal line about 1700, 1690-ish, that general area, then man, I'm telling you, I think you're going to see some really nice moves on Ethereum going towards 2000 and maybe an extended move towards 21 and change. Okay, Ethereum's pretty interesting because it was heavy shorted in the past, and I actually see this playing out pretty nice. Yeah, and it's pretty similar. It's pretty similar to the other coins, namely Polkadot. Very extended out. Polkadot and Avalanche, very extended out. And as you can see, I'm pulling out these trend lines here. I'm messing around with them. So as we were getting this short-term rising structure, and then you can possibly see if this is going to interact. I have to wait and see how this actually kind of plays out, but definitely gonna see some nice moves on Ethereum. I don't really see much here. I can see a breakdown back down towards this trend line here, though. So we could possibly get back towards 1500, depending on how quickly it drops. I mean, if it were to drop, let's say today, that's all the way down to 1400. So we'll say 14 to 1600 here. Is where I would look for Ethereum to get to if this candle here is the beginning of a reversal after a pretty significant rise for Ethereum. So we'll watch it very closely. Not really interested. I might be interested in a buy here towards 14 to 1500, 1600. I'm not too. That's not low enough. But 15 to 1400 might be interesting, depending on how quickly this drops into here, and how Bitcoin and the NASDAQ look. So I'm going to be keeping my eye on Ethereum no matter what. Let's take a quick look at XRP. I don't think I have much to say on XRP. So XRP, yeah, a very muted chart, like I've said, it always will be, as long as it's had its issues in regards to the legal situation it's in. Oops, sorry about that. So it looks fair. Out of all the coins that we've seen, chart-wise, it is fairly bearish looking. But again, it's just in a rising structure like everywhere else. I wouldn't think too much on it. If it does break down, well, we have the levels. I mean, 24 to 25 cents could be massive. Massive. I mean, it'll be absolutely massive. 24 to 25 cents. And if that happens, look for. It's very likely you're going to see price action linger here for a while. Whether it breaks under there, that's hard to tell. I'd have to. I don't normally say this, but I would actually be very surprised if this is not the actual all-time low for XRP. It might not be. If the Federal Reserve stays as hawkish as it's been, then this won't be. Okay. If they do what I expect them to do, I'm actually thinking the Federal Reserve is going to blink going into the fall. I do think they're going to become far more dovish. And I think you're going to see an extended rally. Then I would think 25 cents is probably going to be around the low for XRP for quite a long time, if ever. If not, then 18, 17 cents. So yeah, we're just going to watch. XRP is a toughie. It's hard to chart because it has these extenuating circumstances. Something can change literally tomorrow with XRP. If that whole case is closed off or settled or whatever, then it's going to explode higher. How high? Who the hell knows? If let's just say Ripple loses, right? If they lose their case, it's probably going to just explode lower. It's just going to melt lower. But how low? I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. So this is one of those things where there's a reason why I don't take trades on XRP for the group, right? It's like. It doesn't move enough to justify it, in my opinion. If you're looking to scalp it, quick trades in it, that's totally fine. It's actually fairly decent for that because it holds structures pretty well. But volatility-wise, as a swing trader, it's just not there for me. You can get other coins like Solana or Polkadot or Avalanche that will move more. So I'd rather just do that. If you're looking, again, if you're an investor, like I'm an open investor of XRP. I've had XRP for many years. I've had it cheap. I've had it lower than where it's at now. If you believe in the project, you think it's got a future, then hey, these prices might be interesting to you. I'm not here to give you that sort of advice. Just keep in mind, no one knows the future. No one knows exactly what's going on with the SEC. We can only see what's released. Obviously, it looks fairly positive for Ripple, just based off of what's been coming out. But you're dealing with the government. Don't trust the government. no matter if you're in the U.S. or not. I don't think your government's your friend, period. If you think they are, well, good for you. They're not mine. So if you're putting your eggs in the basket that the government's going to play fair with XRP, be very careful about that. All right? Who the hell knows? I hope everything works out for my sake and everyone else's sake that's in it. But in the end, we just go by what the charts are saying, and so far, it's a rising structure. This is a rising bearish wedge, clearly, and if it plays out, which it looks like it may, it's going to go lower, and the next major support zone is going to be about 24-25 cents. A minor support is going to be about 30 cents. Okay, and we'll see. We'll go from there. Let's take a quick look at BNB. BNB is interesting. Look at BNB's extension. This is nuts, right? This is a beautiful extension. I mean, we're talking about, it was as low as $183 going all the way up to $320. We're almost at 100% extension here. Massive move on BNB. And this is interesting. I have been contemplating a short here. One of the things that's stopping me, though, is everything I've just told you about in regards to NASDAQ, in regards to Bitcoin. So if you're looking for a shorter term short, this might be an interesting zone. But if you start getting bullish consolidation here, which is possible, right? So you may get that bullish consolidation here, then you may only be looking at a move down towards about 307 to about 300 or 295, right? Which is percentage-wise not too bad. You could possibly get a nice percentage gain from there. For us, the way I'm swing trading with the group, it's not worth the risk. But this is pretty interesting. Once it gets towards 360-ish, 370-ish, you're gonna look. That's about 100% move. Okay, doesn't mean that it's gonna actually turn around here, but we are going into major resistance over here. So take a look at this level right here. So this level right here. So about $360, $358. This is gonna be a major support resistance zone over here. Okay, so we want to keep our eye on BNB because we are approaching a possible short zone here, and we have a lot of levels here. We could start looking to ladder in shorts if it comes up, right? So going from 360 all the way up towards like $430, $440. This can be a massive zone for shorts. So this is very interesting. I'm definitely gonna keep my eye on it. So if you're a paid member, make sure you have the alerts on, and that's a good time to transition into the Discord really quickly. Okay. Oh, we just got a new member. Welcome, Illusions of Hope. Happy to have you. Okay. Welcome, Lime Lover. All right. So essentially, I just posted this. If you're a new member, you're not a paid member, you're a free member of the Discord, well, Lime Lover callouts and for stocks and crypto are going to be the way to go. Okay, I try to do this weekly to bi-weekly to give you opportunities to join to get a trade, but there are times where there are no trades. Okay, I do not put out trades I do not personally take. So if there's no opportunity for me to get in a trade, you're not going to get a trade. All right, and sometimes you can go back and look at this here. Like, let's go with closed positions crypto, right? So I've done an entire catalog since I've started the service of all the positions we've had for the month. You'll see, so, June, there was 3 months and three trades for June. 3. I mean, I wish there were more, but there were 3, and that was it. Okay, so you have to, if you're following me, you have to understand I'm not gonna give you more trades than I can. The market will provide the trades, and I'm not gonna settle for anything less than pristine setups. Okay, that's how I have this crazy win rate right now. All right, and like I've mentioned in the past, this is a bit out of the norm. This is definitely the best year so far I've had, the best start to the year, as we've passed the halfway point already. I've never had a win rate this high for this long. So again, my average is anywhere from 80, 85%, 75% as well. That general range. I'm winning anywhere from 7 to 8 out of 10 trades, but actually getting, I think we're around 97% or something. It's an outlier. Okay, so I'm not going to promise you I'm going to do this every year. Okay, but there are some months where you're getting 3 trades, and then there's other months where you're going to get I don't know, 8, 10, 12, 13 trades. It's going to happen. All right, I can't, but again, it's just whatever the market provides. Stocks, same thing. Stocks can be more active, okay, just based off the nature of how the stocks are. Stocks, they generally follow the overall market, but you know, they do have a little bit more individuality compared to crypto. So if you are looking to trade stocks with me, you will get more opportunities if you're a paid member as well as a free member. Okay, but the catch is some stock trades can take much longer. Okay, they can take much longer. One of my favorite examples, and the trade in my opinion sucked. We ended up making money on it, but it sucked considering how long it took. Was an AT&T trade, right? We got into AT&T. It took like not 10 months. It took like 3 months, and we only made like, I want to say, like 3 or 5%. Horrible. The positive is obviously we got paid the dividend, but again, we get trades like that sometimes, and that's part of being a day trader. That's part of the whole shtick. That's the give and take. All right, but my answer to someone who's like, why not just day trade? Well, day trading's great, but day trade you end up giving back a lot of money. You may only give back profits, but take a look at this. We're giving nothing back. Okay, we're giving nothing back. So you got to keep that in mind. There's a give and take. You get a lot more trades day trading. You may get into really high wins, and then you may get into a slump, and you may only lose, let's say 30 or 40% of your gains. Well, that's great. You made 60% profit. Well, swing trading, we're giving nothing back. All right, at least I'm not right now. So you're trading a little less, but you're also giving a lot less back to the market as well. All right. So again, I'm not looking to tell you that I'm trading better than you or whatever. I'm just saying I'm all about consistency. If you're lacking consistency, obviously I can help you learn consistency, whether you're swing trading or day trading. If you're just looking for like you don't want to swing trade, but you want to be in swing trades, I'll do the work for you. That's why the call out service is there. Okay. And yeah, so for members though, for members, free or not, you want to make sure you have alerts set up for the channels, right? Actually, what am I doing here? So you want to make sure that you have in your settings that you have alerts for the rooms. So if you're a free member and you're a Lime lover and you want both stock and cryptos, you want to get alerted when I post. You should get alerted when I do at everyone, but some people have it on their settings where they don't. Make sure you do. And I believe you would just do that through the top part here. I'm not going to go through all my settings, so I don't want to reveal anything, but essentially you should be able to modify that as well. All right, and if you're a member, I mean, you should know this. You'll see Lemon call out stocks, Lemon calls out crypto. Same thing. Just make sure those rooms are alerted for you, because that's where all the trades are going to be for the Patreon members. And then whether you're a Patreon member or a free member, serving lemonade is important, because that's where I'll put the closeouts. Right. So whether it's crypto or stocks, this is where all the closings of the trades go. Okay. So I show you. I show you the trades where I got in, and this where I got in is after all the add-ons. Okay, it's after all the add-ons. You'll get all the add-ons to a position in the respective room. Okay, I'll tell you how much profit I made, and I notify you as quickly as possible. And I also categorize, as you can see, what's Patreon trades and what's a free trade, right? So as you can see, there's a lot more Patreon trades rather than a free trade, because well, they're going to get all the trades, and the free trades, you'll get 1 or 2 maybe a month, sometimes more if it's very active, but you get the gist of it. And again, if you're looking to follow the trades, just keep in mind, let me see if I can find one. So here's a good one. So Ethereum, right? Ethereum was a previous free crypto trade for the free members. Well, here was a trade that took multiple add-ons, right? Okay, and this is also very important to understand. Hey, we're talking about major downtrend. Oh my God, we were talking about major losses. Unrealized losses. So if you're going into a high leverage trade with my strategy, it's not going to work out. Okay, so I just want to make that very clear. I would treat my trading. This might sound a little conceited or just arrogant, as kind of like a savings account, because of how consistent it's been going, and it has been for so many years. I can consistently say it likely will work better as a savings account. I wouldn't use leverage at all. If you are going to use leverage, very minimum. Over time, that account that you're following me with, as long as you're keeping in mind how I trade with the risk, will make money. Okay, so Ethereum, added original entry was 2,400. Okay, and as you can see, it's all here. It's all here, and I tell you, risk up to 2%, and you don't have to follow this like gospel. Okay, my account is going to be a different size from yours. It may be bigger, maybe smaller. I don't know what you're trading with. 2% for me is very, very comfortable in what I would get if I make gains, and very comfortable for me if it went to zero. Okay, so that's why I do 2% in this case. For you, let's say you're trading a I don't know, $1,000 account, a $10,000 account. 2%, may not be enough for potential gains. You can up it. Okay, you can up it to something higher. However, if you do that, that means you take less trades. All right, so if you, let's say I have Ethereum and then I gave you Avalanche and then I gave you Polkadot. All right, if you have a $1,000 account and I'm telling you to risk 2%, but you're like, okay, I'm going to risk 10% or I'm going to risk 20%. You're not going to take Avalanche and Polkadot. Okay, because if it goes lower like Ethereum did, every time I add on, you're going to have to add on. All right, because if you don't add on, then your average entry compared to mine is going to be $2,400, and that's not going to work. Okay, so you have to keep that in mind. Your overall account size does matter. It doesn't bar you from the way I trade, but it does bar you from exposing yourself to a whole assortment of positions that that I take. Okay, and you don't need it. That again, you don't need it. This is one of the reasons why I show you the closed positions. You don't need it. Most, if not all, my trades, save for two, one in crypto, one in stocks, will have worked out and will likely continue to work out. Okay, so as long as you're being responsible, you will make money, and eventually, as your account grows, you can take more trades at the same time as I am. Just think of it that way. It's not a race, it's a marathon, that old cliche. It really matters. So as I'm saying, just make sure that you have the cash on the side to add on with me. Okay, because as you can see, Ethereum I added on, I want to say 4 times, 5 times. So here was the original buy, here was the second add-on, the first add-on, second add-on, third add-on, fourth add-on, fifth add-on, and then we end up selling for profit. Let's see what that ended up selling for. This was June 18th was the last add-on. Let's go to closed positions crypto and see where that was. So June 18th. So this was this trade right here, right? Look how long this trade took. So from so the 9th, the May 9th, going to July 28th, it ended up making just under 19%. Just under 19%. And considering how much you might have, I don't know how much money you would have put in, that's a pretty decent amount of money. Okay, so if you did $1,000, I don't know, you let's say you exposed, let's say 50%. No, let's say you did $10,000, exposed 50%. Maybe about just about two grand ish. So it's not bad. Okay, you made some money. So you want to keep that in mind. Okay. And I think that's all I want to go over today. There's really not much else I want to talk about. So if you're interested in the call outs, it's going to be $15 a month. So that gets you both crypto and stocks. $15 a month via Patreon. If you want to actually do the tutoring sessions, so the way the tutoring sessions work, you get 1 session per week. There's a reason why I do that. It's mainly for me, because before the session starts, I do ask you some questions. The reason why I ask you some questions is because I need to be able to tailor some things to you. There are some universal truths to trading, and then there are some things that really are tied to your personality, and that it makes all the difference. And I need time to kind of to really be able to cater to that. Okay. I also need to know how much experience you have in trading, because the more experience you have in trading, the harder it is for me. Okay, so I do want to make that clear. So if you do go into, you want to learn how I trade, there's a couple ways you can do it. Like I've mentioned, you can go through the Patreon. So the Patreon, here's the link. It's right here in the Discord Patreon link. You just click here, it brings you to the actual page. And there's a few ways you can do this. Okay, so if you want to do the Patreon, you would go for Lemon Lover. So you get one session per week for the month. So it's $300 for 4 sessions. So once per week for the month. So you can pay for the month if you want. All right. And if you don't want to pay for the month, you don't have to. I have it where you can do mainly just $100 per session. So if you want to just pay via crypto, here's the way. I'm going to take XRP. Yeah, you know, call me a loser, I don't care. XRP is the way. Yeah, you just send me $100 via XRP like this, okay? And you know, again, this is fine to do if you want to get an idea of how the sessions will go. That's totally fine. But keep in mind, if you're going to do multiple sessions, it's probably better to do the $300 because I mean, you're saving $100 in the month, if that makes sense. Okay, so just keep that in mind as well. Okay, so I think that's all I'm going to go over. I think I'm done now. This video, I kind of want to just answer all the questions that I've been getting, and then any one question that might come in the future as well. And yeah, all right. So everyone, remember, be patient, be vigilant, and be nimble. Love you guys. Take care.